The RBC is a group of very committed and dedicated business leaders that are really focused almost completely on making sure that the region stays viably competitive, that it's very attractive.
The council is a member-driven council, so the 100 members are actively engaged on one or more of the issues that we get involved in. They put their time, their money, and their energy around making sure that we can get some things done that are very good for the St. Louis region.
One of our hallmarks is we stay focused on a few priorities and we stay behind the scenes.
We focus our efforts in 5 areas: business-friendly public policy, anything that'll help to grow the economy, and transportation. Talent development, and have a series of initiatives in the higher education institutions, reforms in the St. Louis public school system, the overall quality of life for the region, and diversity.
One thing I think that's really important is the relationship that RBC and their members have with the legislators in both states. You know, the RBC has been great for facilitating good communication and making sure that everybody's looking at this, and it's really been a regional effort, and I think we're seeing good results because of that.
I think that what we must do as a team, both legislators and the private sector, work to enhance and improve and find new creative economic incentives to attract businesses to expand their existing businesses in our states, as well as bring new businesses and new business opportunities from throughout the United States and throughout the world.
Well, I've spent my entire banking career in this community, and like all Regional Business Council members, we recognize our role and obligation to support economic growth. It's just not the role of our elected officials to do that. So from my perspective, I think we should be used as a resource.
In this type of economy, certainly leadership is the most important thing we can have coming out of the legislature. And we need leadership.
We need to help businessmen understand that Missouri is a great place to do business and Illinois is a great place to do business.
Right now, we think the most important thing, other than managing costs, is to make sure that we look at all the barriers to which companies face in trying to grow jobs, to trying to come in so that we can compete for more businesses in the area, and to try and make sure that we retain the jobs and the businesses that we got.
The business community is looking for a business-friendly environment in order to be able to do business.
I think the most important thing that the legislators can do to know more about the business community is to meet with local businesses. I think that the RBC provides that opportunity. If they have a question, we can certainly pull enough people together to answer those questions and inform them about our businesses. And I think that's what happens sometimes, is that people in the legislature aren't familiar with all the kinds of business that it takes to make up a community. You know,
you have to have fiscal responsibility. So I think in Missouri, they are looking to cut taxes. Illinois, you know, we're just in too dire straits. They do need to be very fiscally responsible with the programs. They can't start new programs that aren't funded.
We need much more predictability and certainty from our government to enable us to do the things we do well, which is grow our businesses and create jobs.
Uncertainty is the one great problem we have in this country today. People are uncertain, and when they're uncertain, they don't spend their money. They're holding their cash reserves, they're not willing to spend it. They don't know what their tax policy is going to be. They don't know what their regulatory policy is going to be. They just choose to hunker down. So we got to be very clear about that.
You know, probably the worst thing that the legislature could do that could hurt the economy is not address, you know, in Illinois, you know, the budget problems. You know, and on the Missouri side, I think they just have to be very cautious in their spending, and I think that they have to watch how they address the tax issues, the tax credit issues. I think that there's some that are deserving. Maybe there's some that aren't as deserving, but I think that they have to really do their due diligence to make sure that those are addressed properly.
Many states are actually adding more and more incentives to attract businesses to their states. We're in a difficult situation where we have some individuals believe we need to cut incentives. That's really counterproductive to what the goal is, to create more jobs.
Whatever opportunities they have for encouraging funding and encouraging Missouri as a place to start up new businesses.
But mostly we need to make sure that we continue down the path in both states of ensuring that we have business-friendly public policy that encourages those of us that are here to stay here and grow here and create an environment in which we can attract new companies to our region.
I think we need to continue to support our strong educational system that promotes investment in our community.
I've always found that people respond to incentives as well as to disincentives. I think tax rates are the clearest way to describe this, as the data is so clear on that. The higher the tax rate, it restricts work effort, it inhibits investment, and it retards growth.
The legislators have to look at all components of the quality of life in our states. We have to look at our view of the world as a region versus our view of the world as one state versus the other, a city versus a county, because the competition is not going to come from within in the future. The competition will be coming from without, and a lot of times it'll be from outside of the United States.
Well, I think our elected officials would be best served to operate in the spirit of collaboration rather than as competitors and working at cross purposes. I think that would, leverage what we have. I also think that the legislators need to make sure that anything that they do promotes more certainty in the business environment.
I think the biggest thing that our legislators can do to help our economy is to work together on a common basis and stop the diversification between the state, the local, and municipal governments. In other words, everybody work together to get a common good for everyone.
Everything that we can do on both sides of the aisle, on both sides of the river, needs to be focused on jobs, and that's what we believe is the highest priority from a business perspective, and we hope the legislators do as well.
Both states face a lot of challenges, and a number of those challenges we probably can't be very helpful on. But on issues in which business resources may be needed, business input might be helpful, we at RBC are always ready to roll up our sleeves and work with our elected leaders to help craft a solution that makes sense to get our region healthy and growing again. And we look forward to continuing on that over the next year.